Yeah, sure, that'll be great.
Okay, I'll make it.
If you can manage to make it work.
I've got the skills. Theoretically, we'll see if the mic works.
Yeah.
It's on.
Good.
I'm amazing.
Yes.
Let me get my view, sorry.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, the theme for at least part of the night tonight is prototyping. So Kaitu's asked us along to give just a bit of a brief overview of prototyping. Switch to the next one, that would be awesome. So, seamless.
You guys have practiced,
you can tell
haven't
this
you?
is rehearsed, and it definitely wasn't like put together half an hour ago. So yeah, they've asked us to come along, give a bit of an overview of prototyping. So just first of all, what is prototyping? Why you should care? Common mistakes that people make when they're prototyping things. And then a bit about how to choose the right tool. So following us, there's, I believe, 4 people, 4 presenters doing some quick 5-minute in-depth overviews of specific tools. But this will be for now. So please move to the next slide. Okay, so prototyping is a first or preliminary version of a device or a vehicle from which other forms are developed. So the keywords there being first and preliminary. We move to the next one. So it's not the final product. We really should have organized this better, shouldn't we? It's not the final product. It's a simulation of a final product. And then as we're going through before, or a part of the product. So a quick why. Prototyping is generative, which means you can build upon it. You do one version, you learn something, you add to it, you change it.
Mike.
Sorry. So prototypes show things, they don't tell things, so it's much easier to get buy-in on things if that's what your goal is, by involving the people in it and actually getting them to use the prototype so they can understand how it works for themselves rather than just telling them how something has to be. It encourages collaboration in the same way, so once someone's playing with it and they get engaged in it, they can give you feedback and they can start suggesting ideas and making changes on the go. And it creates a rapid feedback loop in that way, which reduces risk in the project because you're finding out things that would have come up later, much earlier in the process. So all of these things together save time, effort, and money in the project. So I wanted to give, I don't know if anybody's seen or heard of this, Sense is from a company called Hello. It's a Kickstarter project that was about 8 months ago or so. And it's a sleep tracker, so it looks at things like the ambient temperature in the room, any noises, particles in the air, humidity, and things like that, and then matches that up against your sleep patterns through the little pill that attaches to your pillow. And then you can get data about that, so you can see, okay, I wake up this time in the morning because the dog next door is barking every morning, so I can do something about that, or I sleep better when the humidity is at a certain level, so you can change that. The reason I'm bringing this up is because you can see the form of this is quite complex, and moving to the next slide. There's a very short video they put out as part of that, and they said to get where we are today, we've iterated literally hundreds of times. So they've gone through the product and with 3D printing, laser cutting, and other sort of new ways of developing things. They were able to put out a product, test it, change it, and there's some stats that they've got in that video, which is in the resources at the end, about how many how many grams of resin they went through with the 3D printer. It was running 1,500 hours or something, broke down 17 times or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, so that's just an example of a really good way of prototyping and how valuable it was. So a couple of common mistakes that people seem to make when they're prototyping, which I think these sort of apply to design in general and UX in general. But so first off, prototyping too little or too much. So you really just need to know what you're trying to find out when you're prototyping. If you're trying to learn something, if you're trying to get stakeholder involvement, what do I need to do that? You don't want to fall too short, because then the experience won't be what it should have been, and it'll be hard to communicate that to people, but you also don't want to spend too much time going into too much detail when you don't need to. That's all about the goal. So again, in the same way, prototyping the wrong thing, it seems simple to say, but and finally, especially when you're working with stakeholders, not setting expectations for what the prototype will be. So if they're expecting a fully fledged high fidelity version that looks exactly and works exactly like it is, and you give them a little piece of paper with some scribbles on it and say, how's this? You're not going to be very happy. So to address these common mistakes, you need to determine what you need to learn before you actually start. You need to set the appropriate expectations with the people that you're working with so they know what to expect and how they can best be involved. Determine the right level of fidelity, which we'll get into in a moment. And finally, which so hopefully some of the presenters later will give you a bit of an idea around the right tool for the job. There's not a single right tool for the job. It depends what you're trying to achieve with that. So picking the right tool, there's a lot of different things which go into picking the right tool, as you can see. So fidelity, which I'll get into a bit more in depth, and that's what we're going to focus on sort of for the next 10 minutes, is sort of the amount of detail in there. There's different types of fidelity. So low fidelity, a sketch on a piece of paper; high fidelity, something that comes out of Photoshop. You also got to take into, are you familiar with the tool? Is this a new tool that you're going to be picking up and it's going to take you a while to learn? Again, the time and effort involved both in learning and in actually creating the prototype you want. You don't want to spend weeks creating something that you need to learn something very quickly and move on. It's going to take a very long time. Support for multiple devices, especially when we're thinking in digital. So is this something that you can send out to, does it work on, is this for an iPhone only? Can you send it out to iPads? Can it work across the desktop? Depends what you need to find out again. Collaboration and feedback, working within a team. Can people look at this and then provide feedback straight away? Can they make changes on the fly? So what sort of mechanisms does the tool provide to allow that? Integrating with other tools, so we're going to have a look at Sketch later and InVision and how you can integrate different things into InVision to sort of help your workflow along. Versioning, so screw something up, can you step backwards and see what you've done? Pretty straightforward. And finally, the price. There's a lot of tools coming out at the moment. I don't know if anybody else has been seeing them all. They're very hard to keep up with, and if you pay for them all, you better be making a significant salary. So as I said, the one that we're going to be focusing on tonight is fidelity mainly. And there's actually, so there's three types of fidelity. Most people think sort of visual fidelity, as in, is it Photoshop, is it on the piece of paper? There's also functional fidelity, which is so the amount that you can actually interact with it and how closely that represents what the interaction would be in real life. And also content fidelity, so the content that's going in there, how much effort do you need to put into putting that content in and keeping that up to date, and is it going to be, I guess that sort of comes down to how much the content actually contributes to the experience that you're designing, but how much that can be reflected in the prototype. Okay, so that brings us on to tools, and I'll hand over to Arlen and swap places with him.
So we're going to go and have a brief overview of some of the tools that are available to us at the moment as designers. We're going to start with paper. So paper is something that anyone can use. Kids use it, industrial designers use it, and we use it. So it's really great for testing an idea quickly and cheaply. It's good for getting people on the same page. It's really good at extracting ideas from people who wouldn't normally necessarily use paper, like developers, subject matter experts, and so on. It's really good for defining simple flows, and you don't get too attached to it, so it's easy to show an idea without people getting caught up on all the details. Here's a book, if you would like to know more about paper prototyping. There's a link at the end. Balsamic. So Balsamic is a rapid wireframing tool that helps you work faster and smarter. It reproduces the experiences of sketching on a whiteboard by using a computer. So Balsamic is really good again for simple flows, simple interactions. You can create mock-ups really quick and easy, quick and dirty. And it's also really good at capturing feedback from internal teams and stakeholders via My Balsamic, which is a web tool that they have that you can plug into. So Sketch. Sketch is something that I converted to really quickly, personally. You can easily create complex shapes with our state-of-the-art vector Boolean operations and take advantage of our extensive layer style.
You'll find the affiliate link in the resources.
So what is Sketch good for? You can go as low fidelity as you like to as high fidelity as you like. It has a really low learning curve compared to things like Photoshop. I won't go into Sketch versus Photoshop because it doesn't really matter. It's really good because it exports usable code to developers as well, so it's generative. But it's not actually a prototyping tool, unless you plug it into something like InVision, which they say they are the world's leading prototyping, collaboration, and workflow platform. So InVision utilizes hotspots and slicing to create simple flows and interactions. You can go from simple to complex prototypes in terms of flows. It only really handles simple interactions and transitions and gestures rather than complex ones. So it's really good at validating flows and ideas quickly. You can plug Sketch and Photoshop, and you can even take pictures of your paper and create a prototype that way. It also has a really great way of capturing feedback from teams and stakeholders via the comment sections, if you guys have used it. If you have never captured feedback with InVision, if you've just done it in meetings, you know how much of a nightmare it is. So the collaboration tool is really helpful. This is, though, how InVision kind of feels when it comes to interactions. So the next tools that we're going to talk about are, they handle more complex interactions and animations a little bit better, so it feels a little bit more like this, which is a little bit more natural and human. So Proto.io, the next few tools they're fairly new as well. So Proto.io, you can create fully interactive, high-fidelity prototypes. And we're just going to go an overview of the next couple because I haven't used them as in-depth. So you can create high-fidelity, interactive prototypes. You can go into great detail with the interactions that you can create and transitions and gestures. Atomic's another new one. They're a New Zealand-based company.
In the house.
Yeah, I've been using this one. I'm on the beta. I think it was just released recently.
They've just come out in public beta.
Okay, yeah. It's really good. It's a bit limited in that you're sort of stuck in the browser, I think, for me. But again, it's another cool tool to watch out for. And Pixate. They claim that high fidelity is now lightweight, so low barrier to getting sort of high fidelity mock-ups. The problem with Pixate is that it's at the moment only mobile-centric. They don't really do desktop. So Framer.js is another one that we've been playing with lately. And we found that it's really good for single interactions. So when you want to refine and create single specific interactions and gestures. There's a really good case study, designing Twitter video. I definitely recommend you guys look it up. Again, the link's at the end. So it's really good case study of showing the process of prototyping and iterate the design for Twitter video using Framer.js.
Always a catch.
We won't go too much into detail with this because Doug's going to talk about it later. HTML and CSS, what you can't do, but you need to know code. So in summary, determine what you need to learn, set appropriate expectations, determine the right level of fidelity that you need to communicate, and pick the right tool for the job. Thanks. Questions?
Can we have lights up? Lights up?
We're not.
I'll run a mic.
Probably a.
I'll run a mic to you.
It's only a quick one.
Sorry. I'm running a mic anyway.
Right. Can we get your slides?
Yes.
Yeah.
Slides will be available after I've been led to believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Sure.
Is that what's happening? They'll be sent around or something? Or there'll be a
We'll
meetup?
work it out, and the slides. If you guys are happy to share your slides, then we will share your slides.
Cool.
And if you want.
Other questions for Matt and Arlen? Right. Okay.
Hi guys, I just kind of like facing an issue with the sensitivity of information the company I'm working for, right? I'm trying to do prototypes and using all these tools, but as soon as you upload something, you kind of exclude, right? So yeah, is there anything you can suggest to use like local copies, so these tools allowed to do that, or is it a cloud-based thing?
Yes, we kind of have this problem at the bank.
we kind of just do it
Well,
anyway.
yeah, we kind of use InVision anyway.
We're
You're
not
not
recording
supposed
this,
to.
And can everybody wipe that from
It's recorded.
I suppose that
here.
that would be part of the process of picking the right tool for the job. So, paper's good. Yeah, can't really leak. Does your organization have a preferred tool? Like at the bank, they like Action.
Yeah, we do have Action, right? And even like they just released the Action app. You still kind of, in order to make it local, you need to put it in the cloud and then download on your device. So you kind of like screw it again. So it doesn't matter. So we're kind of trying to figure out a way to do this kind of like prototyping and just getting feedback from users.
Yeah.
Do you
I think,
use, sorry, just to answer that, do you use InVision as the enterprise account? Because you can get...
What I might
No.
suggest is if you guys want to, we might save this for the panel.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and fit it in if we can have a panel discussion with all of the presenters, and maybe between now and then they might come up with an idea. Have we got other questions? Sue? Oh, Lisa does.
Last question. Have you ever tried to layer different prototyping tools? So do stuff in one thing and then layer it in one thing and then add something else to it and...
Yeah, this is kind of something that we talk about all the time. So we find that depending on what we want to achieve, so we worked out that if we want to just test the flows, we'll use InVision. But then if we want to really refine and iterate complex interactions, we use Framer.js. Because at the start of a project, you kind of want to validate as quickly as possible. So InVision's good for just getting those flows done and yeah, we're achieving the goal. But when you've validated that, you want to focus on like each individual interaction, then you can spend the time working on those, and Framer.js is really good for those individuals. So it's not a perfect process, but it's kind of what we've got at the moment.
Hi guys, I guess sort of touching what you guys were talking before about preferred tools. Like if your place of work has a preferred tool, how open are you to kind of going back, exploring new tools and kind of using that as, because it's communicating the idea but not necessarily in the preferred way. Like do you guys try to still do that or just kind of use the tool that is the preferred tool and work with that?
Yeah, we're sort of so the team we're working at the moment is a new team, and they're trying to sort of define the tools, and we're definitely trying to find the balance between picking a set of tools that works for everybody and works in the majority of cases, so you can have crossover between team members, so you don't have to learn new tools and stuff like that. But with the amount of tools coming out, it's something that you just need to work on to make sure that it's flexible enough to allow you to explore new things. I read an article this morning, and they were saying, like, there was a team saying that they try out a new tool every week and then report back, and everybody plays with it. But are kind of actually fitting that into knowing what's out there and actually fitting that into a workflow that everybody can use that's productive. I think it's difficult at the moment. I don't know if that's not really an answer.
I don't use anything I don't want to use. Unless I really have to.
I see Action in your future.
Well, I just called Jamie to do Action stuff.
Yeah.
She's going to talk about Action soon.
Great. Other questions? Terrific. Thanks so much, guys.
Okay.